Start the first drawing here, I would recommend starting with the outside rectangle. Notice it is 6 by 4 inches. So let's click on the line tool. You can also hit L on the keyboard for line and enter. Click somewhere on your screen to start. Move your mouse to the right. Make sure it's snapping straight on that polar green dashed line. We're going to type in 6 and enter. And then we're going to go up 4 inches and enter. Go back to the left, 6 and enter. And then I like to click it close and hit the escape key to finish the command. Now we need to find the center location of this hole. As a matter of fact, all the holes. Notice that it is 1 inch over from the left. And going down, we can figure out that if the whole thing is 4 minus 2 minus the additional 1, that leaves you 1 inch left. So it's 1 inch over, 1 inch down. And if you notice, these circles are all 1 inch up. And 2 plus 2, 4, 5, 6 minus 5 is 1 inch over. So it's 1 inch the whole way around. So the command I would like to use is the offset command. Hit offset. Specify the distance. We just said it's 1 inch, so 1 and enter. Select the object to offset. This is where you click on the line and then click on the direction you want it to go. So I want it to go in towards the center. So I'm going to click, grab the top line and click down in towards the center. Click. Select that line and click. Select this line and click. To finish your command, you can either hit enter or escape. So this gives us the center point for the 4 circles around the outside. Now, if you notice the size of this circle, you have this little circle with a slash through it. That symbol stands for diameter, and that's very important. So it's a diameter of 1 inch times 4, and that means that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Okay, it's not a diameter of 4, it's just telling you that there's 4 of them. To draw a circle, we go up to our circle drop down. We have a bunch of options. Make sure you click on the correct center diameter, because that's what the dimension asks for. And then it says specify the center point for the circle. Well, we said the center point is where those 2 lines intersect each other. Notice that if I hover, if you have the object snap on, it should show up. Go ahead and click. If you drag out your mouse, you can see that you're dragging out the size of the circle, and we want a diameter of 1, so 1 and enter. Okay, we repeat that 3 more times. Circle, diameter, click on the center point. Now, if you notice in the screen there, it says specify diameter of circle, and then there's a bracket 1 inch. It remembers the last thing we entered, which was 1 inch. So instead of having to enter 1 again, I can just hit enter, because it remembers the 1 inch. Circle, center diameter, click on the center point, hit enter. Circle, center diameter, click on the center point, and again, you can hit enter because it remembers that command. Now, before we get rid of these lines, let's go ahead and do the next one. Notice that it's 2 inches offset from the last hole. So I can do offset, type in distance of 2 and enter, click on this line and offset it over 2. Okay, another way you could do it is, since we know that the whole thing is 6 inches and this hole is located 3 inches over, well, that's halfway. So we could have just drawn a line from the midpoint, which is halfway, down. Okay, there's always more than one way to do these drawings. All right, we got our center location for our next hole. We have to find the size of it. Right here it says diameter of 0.5, and that there's 2 of them. So circle, center diameter, click on the center point. Now we got to enter a new dimension, 5, and enter. And there you go. Circle, center diameter, click on the center point. We don't need to enter 0.5 because we already did. We can just hit enter. Now the fast way to get rid of these lines is not trim them. Okay, if you trim them, it's going to take too long. Just click on them. I like to click all of them at once. As a matter of fact, I draw a green rectangle and grab all 3 of those at once. Just hit the delete key on your keyboard. It's that easy. The second one, we need to find the center of these 4 holes. Well, if you look at it, they pretty much make up a square. They make up a 3 inch by 3 inch square. So that's what we're going to draw. Go line tool, click somewhere on your screen, and make a 3-inch by 3-inch square. Another way that you can close this is if you look down on the command line, you can do C for close. If I type in C and enter, it will automatically close it. All right, we need to get the size of these holes, diameter of 0.5 again. So we're going to go up to circle, center diameter, click on the center. The diameter is 0.5, which is actually still what we had from the last time. So I can hit enter. Circle, center diameter, click. If you need to enter 0.5, do it. I already have it entered. And we're going to do this a total of 4 times. Now, these big arcs are circles that have been trimmed out. And if we look at this dimension right here, it has an R. R stands for radius. Notice that there is a center radius option. TYP stands for typical. So it's saying that this is a radius of 1 inch typical, meaning that there's a bunch of them, 4 in this case. So let's go up to the circle drop down, go to center radius now. Notice that this icon, after I click on this, changes to the radius icon. Just like before, we have to click on the center point first, then you type in your radius, 1, and enter. Circle, center radius, click on the center point, 1 and enter. Center radius, click on the center point. You don't have to enter 1 because it remembers, but if you'd like to, you can. And there we go. Now, get the big arc that touches those 2 circles. Notice that it touches only 1 location here and 1 location there. That's called tangent. We don't know where the center point is. Okay, it doesn't tell us where this is at. So we can use a new tool. Under the circle menu, the drop down, click on tan radius. If you read the command, it says specify a point on the object for the first tangent. We're going to click on this circle roughly in this area. Go ahead and click. And then move your mouse to the opposite circle, also in that kind of area, and click for the second tangent. There's your tan. And now it's asking for the radius, which if you look at the sheet, it says an R2, so it's a radius of 2, and enter. Okay, we do that 3 more times. Circle, tan radius, click on the one, click on the other one. It remembers 2, so I can just hit enter. Circle, tan radius, click, enter. Circle, tan radius, click, enter. Now, before we start trimming, let's just get this hole in the center finished. A fast way to find the center of a rectangle or square is to draw a line diagonal, and then the midpoint of that line is the center of the box. We gotta get the size. The size is a diameter of 2, so we're going to use circle center diameter because that's what the dimension says. Find that midpoint. Make sure you have your midpoint object snap turned on. Okay, those need to be on. Click on the midpoint, enter the diameter of 2 and enter. And there we go. We can start trimming. Now, the first thing I would do is select and delete these lines. Let's just get them out of the way before we even start to trim. Next, let's trim off the circle. So we're going to go to trim, and then we want to select all, so we have to hit enter. Remember, it's trim and enter. And we're going to trim off by clicking on these circles here. And then don't forget to trim out the inside parts here. When you're done, you can hit escape. I'm just going to select and delete these since I have so much stuff on my screen and get rid of those.